What is up and welcome back to the channel. Today's video we are going to be exploring how I produced an indie alt pop rock song. I guess I'm horrible with genres. I hope that's not too much, but basically an alternative pop song. It is off Jaelynkay's new album Diary of a Delusional Girl, and the song is the title track called Get Up. If you want to listen to the song first or after the video, either one works, but I will give the link in the description box below for Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, whatever. I'll give the link for all that. If you want to check it out before we dive into this or afterwards so you can hear it. I can't really play the whole song on here because of copyright issues. But fun fact, Jaelynkay also happens to be my wife. And I am lucky enough to be able to get to produce her songs and that she lets me do this. And she thinks I am good enough to do this because I always have self-doubt, but I think most producers do, so I'm okay with that. The important thing is that she likes the end result and that she gets songs out to you guys. One caveat, this video is gonna have no cuts. It's gonna be raw. There's gonna be no edits. It's gonna be me blabbering on for probably about a half hour, so buckle up. Hang tight with me, and this isn't really going to be like an in-depth run into plugins and all the cool things that they do. It's basically just going to be like the layout of the song, instruments that I used, and like putting them all together into a song, if that makes sense. But yeah, I'll quit yapping and we will get to the actual meat of this video. But before we do that, please hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. And as we're going through this, let me know if there's anything you would do differently, anything you liked, anything that kind of was like, whoa, I didn't know you could do that, probably not. But yeah, or other plugins that you even like. Let me know all that stuff down in the comments below. I would be happy to hear it, and I think it'll help other producers out there as well. My one last thing before we get into this video is that I do not call myself a professional producer. As you can see, I am in a spare room in our house. You don't need much. You need an audio interface and you need the will to learn. That's all you need to do. I started at nothing. I started at scratch with literally nothing. You don't need much more. This took me, wow, the better part of, boy, I'm getting old. This took me the better part of like 10 years to get up to this point, and I will boldly say those first 4 years, I was horrible. I was trash. I don't even want to listen to the songs I produced back then. They were horrible, but they got me to where I am today. And I'm making this video in hopes that you can overcome the 4 to 5 years that I had to deal with and get yourself to be a better producer. And I'm hoping with this video is that I can learn maybe from you guys, and you tell me what I should do differently, or what I could do differently, or what you do differently than what I do. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right, so we are in the project file in Logic, and as you can see, everything is grouped. First of all, I like to group everything together really once I start the song, and also I really want to clean it up at the end so it's easier to mix. But I have all my vocal groups right here, my guitars, bass, drums, percussion elements, synths, keys, and textures. And then here's my buses, Vox bus, which is vocal, harmony buses. I'll show you all those later separately, but yeah, drum bus, everything. So how I started this song was a little differently than I do most times. Sometimes I start with an acoustic guitar with a melody or a chord progression or an idea. Sometimes I will start with a keyboard. Sometimes I'll start with just a drum loop or percussion loop. This time, I started solely with the drum beat. Now, my wife knew exactly what she wanted to go for with this song. She wanted that sort of reputation-y, kind of like alternative rock pop vibe. So right away, I went into the drums with it, and I wanted to get like this hard backbeat drive, and I wanted to get that figured out first. So the drums separately, soloed out, sound like this. Has a nice groove to it. It's not your typical like it's not your typical like 1, 2, 3, like just staying on the hi-hat. There's a little bit of staccato, I guess would be the best word for it. I'll show you that here. So first I started off with some hi-hats. So you hear it's not just like that, just like it's not 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's got like this little bit of a rhythmic feel to it that kind of helps drive the song, but it leaves some space for other synths and textures and bass lines. But next we have the kick. Very simple, but you hear it's just got like that thud to it, that low end. It's got a little bit of ring to it, a little bit of like reverb to it. Next is the snare. Very just like open garage sounding snare, like just like a thick punchy snare. It's got like a little bit of a ring that really kind of like fills out the rhythm section. There's not much for toms in this song, but where there is, it is the bridge part. And I wanted something that really drives and really like carries you through the bridge. So these are what the toms sound like. So at first they're kind of like mellow, but then they pick up halfway through the bridge. And you hear they kind of have like that, they kind of got like a little high end ring to it. There's not so much low end because there's already so much bass in this song and there's already so much kick low end that you want to keep those toms. I wanted to keep these toms up in the mix a little bit more, a little bit higher. So I took out some low end and that way you can really crank them up more when you don't have any low end. And then we have, you know, just a little bit of ride just in the choruses and the bridge parts and, you know, just to make an overall thicker drum sound. Pretty simple. Just staying on the edge and a little bit of the accent bells. And like I said, all together they sound like this. Just really nice, you know, little saturated drum sound. And I'll show you. So let's start with the kick. My plugins on the click are a Pultec, and it's not showing me that because my tracks are frozen. So but basically I have I'll just unfreeze that. I have a Pultec. Honestly, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know what a lot of these things do. I don't think a lot of people do. I think the really good producers do. I'm not a really good producer. I'm just a normal producer. But what I like to do is I like to find a preset and I like to pick something out of here that is fitting for whatever instrument it is going to be using for. So like, you know, here it says kick, tight, and punchy. Now I use that preset, but then I find one that's really good for a kick, and then I find one that's close, and then I even get it, like I fine tune the knobs until I really hear a good difference and to what really sounds good. So my main point is this, is that, you know, plugins don't make the man, and, you know, it doesn't matter what plugins you have or really, you know, how you use them. It's really just, you can find the best sounds just by playing with knobs. But yeah, I really like this plugin. It is from, I believe, Universal Audio. They make great plugins, by the way. It just helps EQ that kick. As you can see, I have a little bit boosted in the low frequency, and then it's really attenuated, so that attenuation is gonna like kind of compress it and like limit it somewhat. So it really just like is in your face. Next up, we have a normal compressor. This is the Universal Audio 1176 FET compressor. Really good. Just, you know, medium attack, pretty slow release, just so you get that like thud when you hit the kick. Another Pultec, this one is the MEQ5 by Universal Audio. Just random, I'm not going to go into depth in all these. And then another channel EQ, really cutting out the low end where it's like going to just make some unwanted noise. And then after that, this is a plugin I recently got and I really like it. It is from Fine Classics. They make great plugins, by the way. But it is from Fine Classics, and it is just a saturator. And what that really does is really thickens up. It like almost crushes the kick, but you know, not enough where it's, you know, like audibly noticeable to the naked ear, but like when you hear it in context, it just adds so much. So that's with it on. With it off, it's just like, it's there, but it just doesn't have that grit. When I turn it on, it's just like in your face, and this plugin is a lifesaver, especially for this type of song. Next up on the snare, we have just some channel EQ. As you can see here, boosting some high end, cutting out some of that like crack. But yeah, low end taking out. Once again, I have a compressor on here, just, you know, taking a little bit of the peak off and really adding to that attack. An expander, a limiter, multipressor. These are all doing the same basic things. Just I like to just nitpick myself. A little reverb on it. Another 1176 compressor just to really hone in on that snare and that thwack. Another compressor, and once again the saturator. Toms. There's really not much going on here, just the Pultecs and the compressor and a channel EQ. You don't really need to do much on toms. They're pretty good out of the gate. Hi-hat, once again, it is just a Pultec, and it is just another 1176 compressor. As you can see, a lot of the drums, 1176, I don't know if there's a secret sauce to it for drums or what, but they sound killer with an 1176. Ride, same thing. I want to keep the ride and the hi-hat crash, you know, as close as I can, that I possibly can, in similar sound wavelengths, I guess. So I keep all the plugins the same, compression the same. I treat it as like, you know, the same overheads going on at the same time. Hope that makes sense to you guys. But anyway, that's the drums. But then below that, we also just have just one other, like, it's an authentic snare, or electronic snare, my bad. But it's basically just like in there a couple times, just in like the quiet parts, and it helps carry out some of the rhythm section. And then an electric kick that sits below the normal kick, and it really just keeps that song and that rhythm section driving. So once again, muted out with all of that, the drum bus sounds like this. 1 second. Okay, we're back from freezing. So like I said, altogether the drums sound like this, soloed out. Now in the drums, the drum bus itself is this SSL compressor, which is great. It is great for an overall mix bus, and it's great for the drum bus. Once again, find a preset you like and tweak it. You don't need to know exactly what all the knobs do. It's good to have an understanding, but just find a preset you like and tweak it here and there. As you can see, it's barely taking any compression, but it does just glue it together. Next up, another Pultec. And once again, you guessed it, the 1176 on top of everything. Pretty medium attack, slow release, not much going into it, not much out, but it's just enough to glue it together. Then my sends, looks like we have a reverb that is going to just for the drum verb. And it's just going to the drums, keeping it separately. You don't want to add anything into it and make it more muddy in that reverb. So that's basically the drums. Pretty simple, pretty easy. There, you can get as detailed as you want to with drums, or you can get as simple. I like to keep it kind of right in the middle, nothing too extravagant. Oh yeah, one other thing is just a drum crush. Basically what that is a very hard compressor with a little bit of saturation from this Chroma Glow from Logic. And what I like to do is, I'll solo that with it. What I like to do is just, it's a parallel compression. So basically you are compressing the ever-living snot out of the drums on this channel, on this drum crush, but you're blending it into taste. So you can hear nothing right now. Once you bring it up, it's really crushing it, but you just want enough to where it adds a little bit of like, you know what I mean? Okay, so that's the drums. That's basically it on the drums. Let's go to the percussion now. Percussion is very simple. My point with percussion is not to overdo it. I just want to really like emphasize the rhythm with it. I don't want to like bring anything in that's like out of the ordinary. I just want to have that rhythm section filled. So we have a tambourine, a shaker. Those are self-explanatory. And then we have this cool little, I found this like 80s style, just like click sound, and it sounds so cool. That's it. But when you put it into context with the rest of the rhythm section, it sounds very cool. And then oddly enough, in the chorus parts, in the bigger parts of the songs, I found this brush texture, and it just has this like little bit of a rhythm to it, but it mostly has like a textural sense to it when you add it into the rhythm section. Like it's like a brush hitting part of a snare, and it doesn't really have much to it, but it has like this sick rhythm and like texture to it. And when you add everything together, very simple rhythm percussion section. But when you put that in with the drums, it like adds so much to it. Whereas if you don't have it, sounds good, but when you put it in there, carrying the song, you want to help carry the listener through the song, and that's what the rhythm section is for. So that's the percussion. Once again, we got a percussion bus, and there's nothing in there. Isn't that fun? I don't even know sometimes what I'm doing with these songs. They're all different. We're all learning together. All right. Then I like to go to the bass. Now, the bass, I wanted something driven with some low end. So what I did was I found a bass line that I liked, and I worked with it. And here's what I came up with for the bass line. Simple, very simple. Walking it through. And you can hear it's got like this little, it's got some good low end, but it just has like a little bit of like little grit to it, which helps cut through the mix a lot with the bass. And in that, just a gate, we got a overdrive, the bass amp that comes with Logic, which are very good actually. Like honestly, they're really good. An EQ, cutting out some high end and some unwanted low end. A multipressor, and once again, Fine Classics saturator. I mean, listen, without it, with it. It just adds some grit. And then below that, I have this like synth bass thump that kind of follows along with it, but it mainly just stays in like a rhythm pocket, doing kind of the same notes, but just feeling out that bass. You can hear that low end throughout, but it's also got this little like rhythm to it on the high end. But you put that together and it sounds pretty right there in the chorus. When that bass comes in, it just really adds to it, but it keeps that rhythm section driving. Basically this low thump bass right here, this is more of a rhythm piece, but it just fits so well in the song. So soloed out the bass, add some drums, and add percussion. Sorry, let's go right here. Really starting to carry this song now. You get a pretty good vibe for it. And then we make our way to the guitars. Now, a lot of times in some songs that I produce, I like to go all out with guitars. I'll put like acoustic strum on left side and I'll put like acoustic picking on right, or I'll do like several different takes of an acoustic and then layer that with like 5 or 6 layers of electric guitar. But this one I kept pretty simple. So basically I did 2 takes of a left and right panned overdriven guitar. And it is a very important thing that you don't cheap out and just copy and paste and like drag like a millisecond left or right of the second, like the second take, or how do I want to say that? Like, don't copy and paste your one take and move the like the copy and pasted duplicate one way or the other, just like a smidge. Don't do that, because it's the easy way out, and it doesn't sound as good as when you have 2 separate takes, because like imperfection makes it sound so perfect, and I can't like emphasize that enough. And that's, so like this is the right side guitar. Very thick, very just like distorted and grungy. Left side. Now, it might sound like 2 different guitars playing the same thing, but it's not. They're the same guitar playing 2 different things. That sounds like this. Because those slight like timing differences in your human playing, it separates them and it makes them sound huge. And all I have going into that is I use the Tone King, which is great. I love this plugin. I love this Neural DSP Tone King. It is amazing. They have a lot of great presets. This one was one I've kind of finagled with and made my own. But got that going into an oxide tape recorder, it looks like, from UAD, just to add a little bit of saturation, because I'm going into a digital plugin. I want a little bit of warmth back from that. And then we have 1176, pretty common in this song apparently, and an echo. And I use the UAD Galaxy Tape Echo on this one, and I do like this plugin. It's pretty good. I also like the waves. I think it's the H delay. Both kind of do the same thing, pretty similar, but for this song I just use this one. And let's see, what do I got going in? So this distortion guitar bus is just literally these 2 guitars together, so I can like pan them all at the same time, so I don't have to pan each one separately. So there's nothing going on there. But then this is called the bridge guitar, and basically all it is just like the guitar playing slide notes, and it's playing like 2 or 3 notes, and it just sounds like this. Pretty simple. Few notes plucked, slidden, whatever. Sounds good. And then we have this ambient guitar. And all this is the Tone King once again with a clean setting with quite a bit of reverb. Once again, going into the oxide tape saturator, another 1176 it looks like. Dynamic processor, just cutting down and limiting on it. Tape echo again, and a channel EQ, and that sounds like this. So basically what I wanted this guitar to do is I wanted it to play like the higher notes that I can't play with this distortion overdriven guitar. And all that together sounds like this. And this isn't the bridge of the song. This is with all the guitars, but this is what it sounds like in the chorus. Very simple guitar layout, really. It didn't need much because all the percussion, everything else, the synth bass and the real bass, it was driving the rest of it. So I just needed something to fill in that frequency range for the guitars. And the reason that I didn't do so much guitars was because of this synth group. So first up, we have this little lo-fi piano that's kind of throughout the verses a little bit, and then at the end in the choruses, but it sounds like this. Very kind of lo-fi, old school piano with a lot of reverb on it. And then I wanted some staccato keys in like the heavier parts of the song, and like the choruses and the outros. And that sounds like this. And what I did on this, instead of playing like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, well, like instead of playing all those, I played like half of them, and I have a delay going on that's like a quick delay, like a slapback almost, but it's mimicking like playing to give a little bit of rhythm feel to it. Then we have this 80s synth. Super 80s, very Stranger Thingies, but like, I'm in love with this sort of sound. It's just, you can't really notice it in the song much, but if you took it out, you would be like, what happened? And that's in the choruses and the big part as well. As you can see, a lot of these synth things are when the song is big. It's like to fill out. Like the best way I can put it is your verses, for me, for this song in particular, the verses should be like intimate and like you should be one-on-one with the singer. But when it comes time for the chorus and the bridge and the outro, like that's when you want all your elements to really come full force. Like dynamics of a song should be like choruses huge and hard-hitting, verses a little more intimate, a little more personal. And next we have this 80s sequence. Very like complementary to the other 80s synth. And this part was like, these ARP bells are some of my favorites in the song. First, we have this layer. Just like back and forth, like kind of a conversation with each other. Very simple, but it's very like textural and elemental. But then you mix it with these ARP bells, same thing. Same plugin, same instrument, same everything, but just playing quicker arpeggiations. You mix them together. It's just like has this like whimsical, like it's carrying you through the air kind of feel. And then we have this little ARP loop as well. Once again, carrying you. As you can see, I don't have these ARP bells playing up here that I was just playing. They're not playing during this part. So little complementary of one ARP to the other with different sounds to keep your, like the listener's ear engaged. And then these two pieces are some of my favorites. So this is an atmosphere kind of like sound I went with, and I think it was the Labs Plus, whatever it's called, from Spitfire maybe. I used one of the settings in there. I don't remember which one it was, but it just sounds so cool. It just has like this, I don't even know how to explain it, this environmental like atmosphere to it with like birds kind of, but air and like this just beautiful like orchestral sound. And then I put a gate with it and like a repeater so it keeps that rhythm going during the song. But then like in the outro and the intro, I took the gate off so it just like really fills the void, but this part blends in with the alarm sound that I made. And it just like, because the song is called Get Up, so we were going with like this like get out of your daydream, and so the song starts off like you're in this like you don't want to wake up state, you're in this floating state in a dream sort of thing. Then the end of the song hits and it's the alarm kind of like coming in telling you to get up, like this, like it's over, the song's over, get up. But then in between all that we have this texture, and it's just like this synthy kind of feel, but like it's got this like understated orchestral feel to it, and the like somewhere off in the distance, and it just sounds so good when you put it into context. And all of that sounds like this together. It's just like, you know, you take out one element and you're like, what happened? It's just like, especially these arpels, you take that out and it's like, what? See, like both of them, you put them together though and they sound so good. So now, so far we have all this together. It sounds like this. It's just got this like, it's got like this, you're in a daydream and it's kind of like tossing you around kind of feel. And that's where Jaylen comes in. So in this vocal group, we have, I mean, this is going to be overwhelming. I'm going to try and keep this as condensed as possible, but as you can see, we have a lot of vocal takes here, as you should if you're doing pop songs. You know, it's just, it adds to it. I will say, as daunting of a task as it is to record all these and to mix all these, it sounds so good in the end. So as you can see, I'm just going to run you very quickly on what we have going on here on our main vocal. So this is the verse. We're going, this is an overkill for plugins, by the way. Overkill, you don't need this many. You'd like half of this will do, but this is what I have. I have a channel EQ cutting out the low end. Another console EQ, bringing some of that low end back, but cutting out a little bit of that mid range and boosting a little bit of high end. Compressor. Another compressor, taming some of the lows. And a dynamic processor. So now my goal with doing multiple compressors is that you take, I guess you want to take pieces at a time. So like you don't want to cut so much with compression with one plugin. You want to like compress a little bit at a time and then compress another little bit at a time. Because if you compress all at once, it's going to sound very tinny. Like there's going to be harsh frequencies coming out, and it's just kind of a mess. So I will say, you know, set compressors apart in your layout of a track. A de-esser, you know what that does. We have another limiter, another compressor, as you can see. Just a little bit of a vocal doubler by Isotope. Not much, as you can see. The effect is 20-some%, not much at all. It doesn't really make a difference, but to me it does. Another compressor, overkill on compressors is what I am. I'm overkill on it. This plugin I love. It is called Fresh Air, and I believe it's free from, looks like Slate Audio. It really is just a game changer. It is super easy. 2 knobs. I mean, you can't really screw much up. As you can see, I'm using them pretty intensely here, and I'll show you in a quick second what that sounds like. Just some saturation from soft tube, not much. As you can see, it's barely even there, but it's there. Another vocal doubler for God knows what. I don't know why. And some people are going to hate me. Some people are going to love me for this, but I feel like most people are going to hate me. I have a Valhalla reverb on the actual track, not an Ascend. Sorry, it worked in this song. If it works, do it. Don't listen to what other people say. If it works, do it. And in the verses, oh, another thing, before I get to this. One thing I didn't show you on here is a plugin that I used for all vocals, and it's a must if you want to be a professional sounding producer. So I'm going to go down here, and we're going to go to Ceremony, and we're going to go to Melodyne. Now, Melodyne is a game changer. I don't use it as auto-tune. I use it for pitch correction. I use it to like bring notes back into where they should be. She doesn't really need it. I will say that. I just use it all the time just to pretty much get it sounding so perfect and so clean. I don't have it on here because I bounce every track I do Melodyne with, I bounce it to free up that space because it does take up quite a bit of CPU. But I can do a separate video some other time on Melodyne, but I won't do it on this one. But just know that Melodyne is on here, but it is bounced into the track and audio itself. So her vocal on the verse soloed out sounds like this.
I got nothing to defend. It's you I
Nice
should
delay.
transcend.
And a lot of automation. A lot of automation, as you can see. The verse echo is automated to come up and fill in some empty space when she's not singing. The Valhalla mix is used right there to carry out that note into the chorus, as well as the feedback on that plugin. But yeah, basically that's it for most of the vocals. We got some harmonies. So basically what I like to do, they're a little different in terms of like what plugins I use and what sends. But just know that I like to typically keep everything similar to like the main vocal in terms of, compression and all that stuff. I will change the EQ a little bit to kind of blend in better and mix better with the song. But for the main part, you can kind of copy and paste the plugins and put it onto the harmonies if it's the same person singing. Copy and paste it and then tweak some EQ and get it to blend in nicely. But the biggest thing with harmonies is panning. As you can see, I have these left and right, and then there's some extra vocals. But her chorus is it's basically the same, just I have a little more louder because the chorus is bigger. But like all of the choruses sound so good with all these layers. And I have another like layer of her singing some lines and stuff, but it's just, you need them. And then I have my harmonies as well that I sang on this. And here is what all those vocals together sound like. In context of the song, it sounds so good, but here's what it sounds like by itself. Like, I can't stress how much layering vocals like how important it is in production. It might seem like overkill at the time, and it might seem just like it drags on forever to record it and mix it, but in the end, it sounds so good, I promise you. The one thing I did cool, like different, that I have never done before in this song is at the end. First of all, I want like this bridge at the end that she wrote slaps. I'll play that for you.
He's giving me amnesia.
It just sounds so good. And her writing is so great on it.
Got to feel it deeper, get a little meaner.
So when she sings, "You're gonna have to make me get up,"
He's such a deceiver.
I have this like repetitive, like vocal part of her singing up, 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 and it sounds so good.
You're gonna have to make me get up. You're gonna have.
It sounds so goofy by itself and on its own, but when you put it in with the rest of the song, it sounds so good. It's like this, like, so basically what I did was I took a recording of her singing up, just like singing the word up, and I put it into a sampler, and then I put that sampler on like a keyboard, and then I would play the notes that I wanted her to sing, and it just gave it this kind of robotic feel. But when you put it into the like terms of the song, it sounds so good. Like it added so much. And in that vocal group, I basically have everything running to, let's see, this vocal bus. And on this vocal bus, we have the J37 from Waves Audio. Very good, like warmth, like I guess warmth bringer backer. I don't even know what you want to call that, but it's like a tape saturation, and it's so good. Next up, we have the compressor of the LA2A from Universal Audio. Yes, Universal Audio's LA2A. And not much peak reduction going on, and not much gain, and it's on the compressed mode, and it just really helps glue all those vocals together. The next up is a plugin that I got recently that is another game changer. It's the Waves RVox, and I keep this on the main vocal bus only because I didn't have it when we started recording these, and then I wanted to use it, so I put it on the vocal bus itself instead of separate tracks. But it's so good. I don't know how it works so well, but it takes the vocal and it like squishes it. So like the more compression you get, it squishes it down, but it doesn't like keep those harsh frequencies. And it's so weird how it works, but it's so good. And then we have the CLA, the Chris Lord Algae, I don't know how you pronounce his name. The CLA, and basically all we're doing is just a little bit of compression, as you can see, a little bit of treble boost, not much delay, a hair of reverb. It adds a little bit of extra something. There's a little bit of like flavor that this has that is so good. And then we have the Sound Toys little radiator, not putting out much of like overdrive or saturation. And it gets those vocals really in your face. But yeah, that's really all there is, guys. Like, that's it. You put all that into perspective, and it sounds just like this. I mean, you can do as much as you want or as little as you want, production style. This, to me, for me, it's a little between like middle and a lot of production. A lot of plugins when it comes to this type of style of song, this like indie alt pop. The biggest thing for this style is saturation on drums. Get those drums like in your face. you want to overdrive some of those vocals, especially in the louder parts of the song, just to keep those driving and keep those vocals prominent. The other thing is, the biggest thing is layering your synths with your guitars so they mesh well together. Because if you had just guitar, sounds good, but you add these other elements to it. You know, there's not a lot going on, but there is enough going on where it catches your ear and it keeps you like wanting to hear more of the song. You know, that's why I don't have 13 guitars going on, and I don't have, you know, like 7 different layers of guitars going on. It's because I have quite a bit of arpeggiated synths that fill out those melodies and those notes. So you want to really mesh together your guitars and your synths and your keys in this type of song. And the other biggest thing, rhythm. Keep that song rhythmically moving so the listener, like, A, doesn't get bored, and B, it just like it keeps the flow of the song moving. And the biggest thing with that is your percussion. You know, like I said, with the percussion, it just keeps the song flowing. You take it out, and it's just this kind of simple drum beat. But that's basically it. That is this song in a nutshell. And this is how I did it. I did drums, I did percussion, I did bass, and then I recorded the guitars, and then the synths in that order, and then the vocals after that, after everything. Do you need to do it in that order? No, but for this song, it was great because it helped me find that rhythm, and it helped me find the notes and the melodies, and it helped her, in the end, write and sing to it. Now, there's no right or wrong answer for that. Do things how you're used to it, but that's just how I pulled out all the stops for this song. And that's the order I used. But really, that's it, guys. It's as simple as that. All it takes is a little bit of knowledge and a lot of time and some creativity, and you guys can do the same thing. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to ask them in the comments below. If you have any other suggestions or things that you would have done differently than what I did, also let me know in the comments. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel and check out more stuff. Maybe I'll do more videos like this in the future of more songs I produced. But for now, that is how you do an alternate indie pop rock song. So until next time, we will see you guys later. I forgot to add, if you guys want to listen to this song and the rest of her album, it is on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music. It's everywhere you can get your music. I will leave the links in the description box below, but go check her out. She's great. Her songs are great. I love working on them, and maybe I'll do some more songs of hers in the future. Until next time.